David Smith here with yet one more Casino Night instruction video. A few things before we start. First, this video is intended for instructional purposes for facilitating fun gambling games, not for money. Second, I don't recommend that you gamble for money. Lastly, if you're under 18, gambling for money is not legal for you. Now that you understand the ranking of poker hands, we're ready to move on to playing a simple poker game. If you don't know the hands and how they rank and how to tell which hand beats which hand, you'll want to watch that video first, just so that you can follow along with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a game called 5 Card Stud. Each player only gets 5 cards in the whole game, and the best poker hand will win in that. So we're going to play a couple rounds of that. So with poker, there's this thing called the ante, and you throw some money into the pot before you ever see your cards. And this ensures that everybody has something to lose. It kind of helps people stay in the game. So let's do that. In this case, the ante is going to be $1 each for each player. So everybody put in $1. So we have 3 players, me and player 1 and 2. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to deal the cards. So let me shuffle them up a little bit. Now this is a fairly straightforward game. Each player gets 1 card face down and then 1 card face up. Okay? Now the way this game works is each of these players is going to get 3 more face-up cards for a total of 5 total, 1 face down and 4 face up. So all players can see 4 of the other players' cards. They just can't see the 1 card which is face down, which we call the hole card. So now we have a betting round. We've dealt all the cards out, and we can see that the way you determine the betting round is who has the highest card. Well, it happens that player 2 and me have a 9 showing, but player 2 got their 9 before I got mine, so player 2 would have the bet. Now player 2 is going to look at their card. I'll show it to you. They're going to look at their card and they're going to decide what to do. So let's say player 2 bets $2. Player 1 is going to go, well, I want to stay in. I'm going to bet 2 as well. And of course, then I'm going to do the same. So now the pot's right. Player 2 bet 2, and everyone else had to match that bet. So now we get another face-up card. Now that's interesting. We have 2 clubs and a 9-4. We have 2 hearts and a 7-3. And I have a 10-9 different suits. So now I'm high on the table. Now let's say I look at my bottom card there, and I decide I don't feel that good about my hand. So what I'm going to do is just check. That means that it goes on to player 2 over here, and they can decide whether to bet or check. Now player 2 may have looked at their hand, and they decide they have something worth betting on, so they're going to bet another $2. Player 1 is going to bet $2. They've looked, and they decide they're worth staying in. However, I'm not feeling confident about my hand, so I'm going to fold. You could always fold if you don't feel like you have a winning hand. Okay, so pot's right. Now there's only 2 players in the game. So player 2 got a jack, player 1 got a 4. So now player 2 is high with their jack. They're going to increase the betting on this. They're going to bet 5. Now player 1 has the choice. They can see that 5 and stay in and get their last card, or they could fold right now if they don't think they could beat player 2's hand. But player 1 is feeling gutsy, so they're going to throw in for 5 as well. Okay, so the pot's right. The last card is another 5 and a 2. So it's interesting. We have 3 clubs, but that jack of heart means we're not going to have a flush over here. So the best possible hand in this side would be a pair of one of these 4 cards. The best would be a pair of jacks. So if that down card is a jack, that's the best this hand could be, is a pair of jacks. Now this hand, 2, 3, 4, 7. So we can't get a straight. If that was a 6, this could be a 5 and give us a straight. So the best thing we can do here is a pair of 7s. We're not going to get anything higher than that. Now player 2 is going to press their advantage. Since they're high on the table, they're going to bet 10 because they think they've got it. They've got this hand. Now player 1 decides, I'm going to stay in because I'm not sure they made that pair. So player 1 called player 2. So player 2 has to reveal first. Player 2 just has a 3, so their hand is a jack high. That's the best hand they have. And then let's take a look at player 1. Player 1 has an 8 high. So player 2 would win this hand. Okay, so now we're going to ante up. Each player puts in a buck to get us started, and we're going to deal our cards out. First card is face down, and then we have the up card, a 3 for player 2, a jack of hearts came back again for this hand, and then a jack of spades for me. Okay, so again, first jack is going to bet. Now let's just say player 1 feels really good already. They're going to bet 5. Now I'm going to go, yeah, I'll stay in for 5. Maybe I have a good card underneath. And then player 2 is going to fold. They're like, nah, that's too hard for me. I don't want to waste my money. Okay, so now we deal another face-up card. Now, player 1's looking possible straighty, possible flush. There's 2 hearts, depends on what that card is, but it's possible. And I don't look as strong. Player 1 is going to stay with their $5 bet, and I'm going to match that. I'm going to stay in for that. We get another up card. Holy moly, look at that. 9, 10, jack of hearts for player 1. And what do I have? I have a 9, 10, jack, not of hearts, but I have the same exact hand. Now this is getting pretty interesting. Both of us could have straights. It's very possible, but player 1 could have a straight flush, which is even better. Not very likely, but possible. So let's say player 1 is trying to bet big because maybe they have their flush, we don't know. But I'm going to stay in because I have a possible straight. So I stayed in for 10. Last card, face up. Whoa, look at player 1. That looks like a straight, very possible. And the ace ruined my chances of getting a straight. There's no way I could have a straight no matter what that card is. So this hand, the best possible hand would be a pair of aces if that's an ace. This one could have a straight. We just need a king for the top of the straight or else an 8 for the bottom. So player 1 is going to bet really hard. They're going to bet 20. Now at this point, I would fold. I wouldn't risk 20 to see whether they made their straight or not. So I would fold. So player 1 would win if I folded. Let's see what player 1 has. They didn't have their straight. What do I have? I've got a 6 of hearts. So I actually have the winning hand because I have an ace high, but I felt like it was too much of a risk that they got their straight to waste $20 to find out. So this would be player 1's pot. All right, so you just saw a little bit of 5-card stud. Pretty straightforward game, but does require that you understand the hands. It requires that you read the table so you can see what other people have. It requires you to make decisions about what to bet, when to bet, or when to fold. Remember, you don't have to stay into the end. In fact, a common mistake for newbie players is they just stay into the end of every hand, and that's a really good way to lose. So hopefully you're getting a sense for how poker is played, and we will move on to another game. Now that you've watched the video, a few things to think about. Run over the game in your mind and make sure you understand what you just saw. Feel free to watch the video again to clear up any questions that you might have. If you enjoyed the experience, please click like and subscribe.